Chapter 51, Deep Sea King and Unlicensed Knight. You are listening at NovelsMarvel.audio. Hey, it looks like a nice piece of fat meat. I really want to taste it. The Deep Sea King looked at the developed muscles of the sexy prisoner, and his mouth was full of saliva. He couldn't help licking his lips, and then he moved his body, and before the sexy prisoner could react, he punched out sharply, bang. The punch hit the sexy prisoner's face, and it can be clearly seen that the sexy prisoner's face has been distorted, bang. However, the sexy prisoner quickly recovered and punched back, also hitting the Deep Sea King's face crooked, and then punched the Deep Sea King in the abdomen, knocking the Deep Sea King away, bang. The Deep Sea King landed on the ground, looked up at the sexy prisoner, and puffed his mouth, and his deformed face immediately returned to its original appearance. He smiled, "Not bad, it hurt me a little." The sexy prisoner pinched his nose, sprayed out the blood inside, and hit back, "You are not bad either, it hurt me a little too." The sexy prisoner's muscles were like a living thing, rising and falling layer by layer, and his body suddenly grew to nearly 3 meters. At this time, the two people confronting each other looked similar, and the prisoner was even slightly better than the Deep Sea King. Of course, it may also be because the naked body in the prison uniform is unbearable to look at. The sexy prisoner, with a strong momentum, casually posed one after another like a golden rooster standing on one leg, and shouted. "Not many people have seen my angel form, and they all died at my hands." Oh, that the sexy prisoner shouted some strange things, and stepped on the ground with force, leaving one pit after another. In less than 10 meters, his speed had accelerated to an extremely fast speed, and finally he flew up like an angel spreading his wings. Bang! 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 Dozens of punches that were enough to smash tanks and penetrate the ground covered the entire upper body of the Deep Sea King. Facing the heavy blows from the sexy prisoner after the sprint, the Deep Sea King, who was only wearing a pair of shorts, did not have the slightest fear. The corners of his mouth on his highly beastly face were slightly raised, and he looked a little excited. The blue muscles on his back and ribs bulged high, and then his arms stood up to block in front of him, just like a tower shield erected to protect his upper body firmly. However, the ground could no longer withstand the heavy punches like rumbling cannonballs. In just a few seconds, it was like being crushed by a group of tanks. The gravel and powder scattered and covered the two people in the center for a while. The battle situation at this time made anyone feel that the sexy prisoner had the upper hand. Few people could withstand the punches at such a speed and force. As long as they were relaxed or weak, they would be blasted into mud. Sonic's expression became a little solemn at this time. He had seen the power of this gay guy when he escaped from prison. A heavy punch completely penetrated the several-meter-thick cell wall. Although it was useless to miss him, he could take such a strong blow head-on. He was unable to injure this guy without complete equipment. It was indeed a bit troublesome. Lucifer arrived at the scene the fastest. He packed up all the people of the Deep Sea clan and sent them to the Umbrella Company without leaving a single one. The most powerful Deep Sea King, how much sea pressure can he resist to become a demon-level monster? I'm really looking forward to it. Lucifer's appearance was not detected by the satellites and monitors of the Hero Association. This is very simple. He only needs to change his own bioforce field to interfere with various detection waves and radiation. After all, Lucifer himself has many secrets, and he doesn't want to be noticed by the Hero Association. At the same time, Lucifer is also very curious. If he lets the Deep Sea clan go in the future, will he become the new king of the fishmen? The demon-level monsters in the One Piece world should not be weak. Puff. A small mouthful of green blood was spit on the ground. Hee, is it just like this? The Deep Sea King had a ferocious expression, and his crooked jaw moved and bit, and then he directly recovered. Hoo. Lying on his back in a pit more than 1.5 meters deep was the sexy prisoner, with scars all over his body and his cheeks swollen. Hearing what the Deep Sea King said, he only raised his head under encouragement, and then fell down immediately. The angel mode that originally made his muscles explode could no longer be maintained, and his strength was exhausted. Soldier, you only hurt me a little bit. Is your so-called continuous attack useless? The Deep-Sea King, who knew that he had won, became a little leisurely. This kind of attack without any killing intention, it doesn't matter how many come, slurp, let me taste you, it should be very chewy. In the concept of the Deep-Sea Clan, marine creatures that cannot mutate into human form are completely different species from themselves. Those who are not strong enough after mutation are called ordinary, miscellaneous, people, fish. Only those who are fierce and strong by nature can enter his sight and become soldiers. The Deep-Sea King in a fully alienated state can be said to have defeated the sexy prisoner in a playful way, but he also began to pay attention to his strong muscles rich in chi and blood. Eating him should be able to make some progress. Sizzle, a violent metal friction sound. The Deep-Sea King, who had a particularly sensitive hearing, could not help but frown. What is that? Why can't I feel anything? It turned out to be a human wearing strange clothes, and his aura was almost undetectable. The Deep-Sea King, who was full of doubts, did not take action immediately. Ha! The righteous bicycle rider, the unlicensed rider is here. With a roar without any hesitation, this is a young man wearing knee armor and a helmet, who looks ordinary. Ha! Justice attack, that the unlicensed knight who rushed from the city in a hurry after receiving the news was still a little out of breath. He stood still and took a very ordinary fighting posture, then took the opportunity to adjust his breathing. He ignored the question of the Deep-Sea King, rushed forward with a sudden force on his feet, and swung his right fist with all his strength. It seemed very powerful. In fact, with the combat power of the unlicensed knight, it might not be a problem to defeat Captain America. Maybe he can even defeat Iron Man with his bare hands. After all, he is the first in sea level, and the sea level hero corresponds to the wolf level disaster, the weakest wolf level monster. Although it seems weak, it is calculated based on the ability to cause casualties. Bang! A green palm with a vertical claw like a hook blocked the front casually. The unlicensed knight's full-strength punch did not have any effect on this giant palm that was half the length of his body. The Deep-Sea King had no expression on his face. He grabbed the unlicensed knight's right fist and began to smash it to the ground like a bug. Bang! Landing on his back, the unlicensed knight groaned and spat out a mouthful of blood despite wearing a body armor to protect him from falling. Chapter 52 Ambition. You are listening at NovelsMarvel.audio. Bang! 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 Boom! The merciless continuous attack almost made the unlicensed knight lose consciousness. He could no longer tighten his muscles due to the pain in his body. Fortunately, the sleeves of his clothes could not support him before he was thrown down in the last attack. He was thrown more than 10 meters away, but at least he saved his life. Lucifer appeared in time. The 9th S-Class hero, the God of War. Is it useful? The S-Class hero's sexy prisoner has fallen. Of course it is useful. The God of War is very powerful, that everyone in the shelter said excitedly, because Lucifer captured the Mosquito Girl. Genos did not meet Saitama, so he did not become an S-Class hero because of Saitama, and he did not appear here. However, Lucifer has been very interested in Genos recently. As we all know, the power source of Genos's energy core is very outrageous and has a very high output. I don't know what it will be like if it is used on super weapons, as well as the core of G4, it's just that Lucifer's subordinates don't have talents who are proficient in mechanics and energy science, so it's difficult to research anything. There's no problem with Lucifer's self-study, but Lucifer is more concerned about monster strengthening at present, so let's talk about it when he has time. It's the God of War. That's good. The severe physical injury made the sexy prisoner's eyes blurry, and his consciousness was also a little scattered. At this time, when he heard the voice of the strong reinforcement, he must have fainted immediately. New soldiers. The Deep-Sea King was surprised, and he narrowed his eyes when he looked at it carefully, and his narrow golden animal pupils flashed with uncertain light. The Deep-Sea King crouched like a beast, with a fierce light in his golden vertical pupils, and his claws swung out light and shadows, trying to take the opportunity to kill Lucifer, and it was the most vicious waist-cutting attack. But unexpectedly, it failed. However, the Deep Sea King did not feel worried. He had experienced countless fights in the ocean. Not only had he trained this iron-like solid physique, but his own demon-like recovery ability was his greatest reliance. Strong recovery ability means persistence, and finally victory. Sorry, it's a bit difficult to control the strength to step over an ant without killing it, but it's okay now. Lucifer's voice rang in the ears of the Deep Sea King. I saw a figure flying with an unstoppable momentum. The next moment, a small fist appeared on his abdomen. Wow, green blood and small pieces of organ fragments were spit out. The Deep Sea King felt a strong force hitting his abdomen, and the whole person was knocked out in severe pain. It hurts so much. I want you to die. Even after such a terrifying blow, the Deep Sea King, who has strong vitality, became more ferocious in the pain. Dense and thick blue veins appeared on his limbs, and he would immediately launch a violent counterattack as soon as he landed. I'm really afraid of killing you in one go. Lucifer grabbed his head directly, and then feinted the Deep Sea King with a little force. Then Lucifer took the Deep Sea King away. Ah, where's the God of War? He's gone, but the monsters are gone too. I see, the God of War must have dealt with the monsters and left. Yeah, there are other places that have been attacked by monsters. The Hero Association soon received news of the disaster, and the most powerful monsters have been dealt with by the God of War, so they breathed a sigh of relief. The God of War is still as powerful as ever. I think it's better to let him continue to upgrade. But he just became the 9th S-Class a few days ago, isn't it too hasty? Of course we have to reward him, so that we can also motivate other S-Class heroes to deal with disasters more actively. The unlicensed knight was also in the range of treatment, but Lucifer secretly came to his bedside. In fact, he would go to eat roadside stalls with Saitama after a little bandage, but of course he was unconscious now. This is also an experiment for me. Can a firm mind and spiritual will affect Tyrant cells? Lucifer had a tube of flowing silver liquid in his hand. These were Tyrant cells that had been processed many times. Compared with the ones used by Weskier, they were less safe and stable, but more stable than the original Tyrant cells. Then Lucifer injected the Tyrant cells into the body of the unlicensed knight. The unlicensed knight groaned. As soon as the hot Tyrant cells entered his body, they fought with his body's original immune system, but his own immune system collapsed instantly. The Tyrant cells eroded 90% of his cells in just 10 seconds and completed the replacement. The remaining cells could not resist for long, so when the unlicensed knight woke up, he suddenly found that all his injuries had healed. I feel like I have a lot more strength. He wanted to turn over and get out of bed, but ended up collapsing the bed. After apologizing quickly, the unlicensed knight opened and broke doors all the way, pedaled a bicycle, and the bicycle disappeared directly. After returning home carefully, the unlicensed knight felt unprecedented hunger. He wolfed down all the food at home and went to a store on the street to eat and drink until he was satisfied. Then the unlicensed knight studied what happened to him and found that his strength and speed were much greater than before, and his body defense seemed to have become stronger. The unlicensed knight thought about it and felt that this might be a breakthrough after his life and death experience, so he was more active in helping others. Is he a righteous man like Captain America, or is he a pure hero? Lucifer watched the actions of the unlicensed knight, but how long can he stick to his original intention? As long as he uses it, he will evolve. If Tyrant cells didn't know that there is an upper limit, even Lucifer would be tempted. Of course, Lucifer felt that the Kryptonians were just his own panels, not his own genes. Therefore, it was not impossible to use Tyrant cells, but they had to be Tyrant cells that were safe and stable enough. It would be great if we could get Doomsday's cells, but Doomsday's cells are more dangerous, and they might turn into humanoid Doomsday. If Doomsday's cells are not good, Broly's cells are also very good. The only legendary Super Saiyan, he caught up with the Super Saiyan God in a short time, and he can even push Gogeta. Killing Heart. Lucifer thought for a moment, and he would definitely encounter the Dragon Balls in the world he traveled through in the future. At that time, he would have to capture Broly no matter what, and then achieve the legendary Super Saiyan body plus Kryptonian genetic template. With the big bonus, Lucifer is not afraid even of the day of destruction. Boss, Dr. Kino's research has yielded results. The Black Emperor informs Lucifer. Chapter 53, Battle. You are listening at NovelsMarvel. Has Dr. Genos's research yielded results? Lucifer went to Genos's laboratory excitedly. As soon as he entered the door, he saw an Azura rhinoceros beetle. No, the one-horned Hulk. The behemoth in front of him was about the same size as the Hulk, and looked like the Hulk, but its head looked like a rhinoceros beetle, and its back was covered with a rhinoceros beetle-like carapace, which was very strong and powerful. According to your evaluation, Mr. Lucifer, this Azura Hulk should be at the upper level of the dragon level. Genos pushed his glasses and said to Lucifer. Lucifer remembered that he didn't seem to restrict Genos from studying Hulk cells, but he didn't expect Genos to give him such a big surprise. This Azura Hulk looked very strong and felt very strong. At least the muscle density had exceeded all the dragon-level monsters Lucifer had seen so far. In addition, Dr. Genos's arrival also modified the Umbrella Corporation's cloning technology. Now the Umbrella Corporation's cloning technology may be more magical than the Resident Evil. No, it's more scientific. Lucifer walked in. Kino's eyes lit up immediately. He really wanted to collect samples from the man in front of him, but after Lucifer let him collect them casually, Kino's was shocked to find that Lucifer was just an ordinary person, or a normal human being. But why was he so strong? How could a normal human being beat up the Azura rhinoceros beetle? So Kino's planned to collect Lucifer's combat data through research to see if he could find out why he was so powerful, so that his evolution of all mankind might be realized. Come on. Lucifer raised his finger to the Azura Hulk with great interest, and the violent monster rushed towards Lucifer frantically. Bang! The huge fist was caught by Lucifer with one hand, and the already invisible dust in the field was instantly stirred up. How is it possible? Azura Hulk's output is much stronger than Azura rhinoceros beetle, but Mr. Lucifer didn't move at all. This doesn't conform to mechanics, could it be? Dr. Kinos guessed the application of the field, but how could a living organism control the magnetic field? Kneel down. Lucifer's hand exerted a little force, and Azura Hulk howled miserably, grabbed his arm with the other hand, and refused to kneel down. Dr. Kinos made Azura Hulk only hungry, astringent, and painful, so as to stimulate Azura Hulk to be angry all the time, without the possibility of compromise and communication, and naturally there was no possibility of being tamed. However, in the face of Lucifer's oppression, Azura Hulk had to kneel on the ground, howling miserably, and becoming stronger and more violent. It can continue to become stronger, but not as outrageous as the Vaccine Man. Lucifer watched Azura Hulk become stronger. The Vaccine Man was able to suppress him because the other party was behind the Earth's will or God. Lucifer's strength was limited, although the 6th level Kryptonian was already very strong. Now, Azura Hulk is getting stronger and stronger, which makes Lucifer feel very suitable. He knows the strength of Hulk cells, so, after feeling that Azura Hulk has crossed the peak of dragon and become a dragon like Boros, Lucifer punched its upper body. The biological force field allows Lucifer to use it to the extreme effect. Every bit of strength can penetrate into the molecules, so that his attack is to hit the opponent's molecular structure. Immortality becomes non-existent in front of Lucifer, unless it is immortality like Majin Buu and Deadpool. This is a self-created skill that Lucifer developed after careful consideration. After being blocked by something like vibranium, attacking and crushing molecules, Lucifer can completely destroy the enemy with every blow, and not even cells will be left. There is basically no material level that can withstand Lucifer's punch, unless it is an unreasonable conceptual material, such as cotton defined by the great god as indestructible, then Lucifer cannot destroy it even if he is powerful. There are many similar materials. If the Azura Hulk had not been completely annihilated and turned into nothing by Lucifer's molecule-crushing attack, it could have survived. Seeing Lucifer easily destroy the Azura Hulk, Dr. Kinos said that nothing could be detected, and he could only know that Lucifer could shield his own brain waves, magnetic fields, thermal energy, etc., and was naturally invisible in front of the instrument. If he even changed the radiation and waves in nature, ordinary people would think he was invisible. Very good, the experience value has increased. Lucifer looked at the experience bar. If there were dozens more Azura Hulks, he could become a 7th level Kryptonian. It was right to keep Dr. Kinos. Dr. Kinos, you did a good job this time, I am very satisfied. Lucifer said to Kinos. Thank you for the compliment, Mr. Lucifer, but I haven't done my best yet. Kinos said that he would definitely make something more powerful next time. Lucifer nodded. After Lucifer left, Kinos also started his own little action, studying human evolution. After switching the light screen, the scene changed to a laboratory, in which there was a clone with the same face as Kinos, but the body was stretched to 1.8 meters and the bulging muscles made the lab coat look extremely small. What are the results of the evolutionary fluid test? Kinos pushed his glasses up. Although the data had been recorded long ago, it was more intuitive for the subjects to tell the details themselves. That's right, the Hulk cell with cell evolution function, Kinos, had already started the experiment, and the original body directly used his clone, of course, only a part of the information. So far, 100 experiments have been conducted. Under near-perfect conditions, the success rate is only 80%, and the body functions of the original modulated bodies are all extreme bodies. The successful individuals have some changes in cell structure, and have gained about 3 times the physical fitness before, and their rationality is still preserved. The clone with the label number 56 on the left chest of the lab coat also pushed his glasses up and answered. It seems there are still some problems. Kinos played with a light green liquid in a small glass bottle in his hand, and murmured a little. Under the conditions of sterility, strengthening clones, providing perfect medical care, and the best psychological quality, this completion rate is a bit low, and it is only a 3-fold increase in quality, which is not even comparable to the Beast King and the transformed orangutan, with Lucifer, who is considered by Genos to be the strongest human being. The current progress of Hulk's cell can only be described as mediocre. In fact, if it were thrown out in the Marvel world, I'm afraid a lot of people would be fighting for it. Chapter 54 Capture Plan. You are listening at NovelsMarvel. Stand by in the base, wait for the biological structure to be completely stable and confirm that it will not be infected by genes from other species before conducting the next auxiliary strengthening experiment. I don't need any alien-modified bodies. Genos ordered coldly. However, Lucifer received bad news as soon as he returned to the world of One Punch Man. All S-Class heroes had to hold a meeting at the headquarters of the Hero Association. Boros. The dark matter space pirates are coming. No, I have to take care of everything by myself this time. These are all rare experience points. Lucifer did not plan to go to the headquarters of the Hero Association for a meeting. He wanted to stop the dark matter space pirates. So, Lucifer turned around and returned to the Marvel world, intending to see how many men he had available. Anyway, these men only needed to ensure that the weirdos of the dark matter space pirates could not escape, or they could help capture these weirdos for Genos to study. Alien invasion. Dr. Genos hurriedly put away his research, and his eyes widened after hearing what Lucifer said. That's right, Genos. This is a very good opportunity. We can capture a large number of aliens for research, especially their leader. If we can get his cells, we may be able to create more powerful biological weapons. Lucifer was thinking about asking Dr. Genos to develop Boros No. 1 and Boros No. 2. In this way, he probably wouldn't lack experience points. Boros above Dragon is an opponent that Lucifer feels he has to try his best to defeat, but now it's only level 6, which is still not safe enough. Although the strength of the level 6 Kryptonian can beat the Kryptonian in the movie Man of Steel into a pancake, Boros can also do it, so it's nothing. There is also the Octopus, the first telekinetic master in the universe, who can create a black hole. If it weren't for Saitama, even the Hell Tornado would probably not be a match for the Octopus. Dr. Genos was very excited, but he also realized that they were seriously short of manpower. Even if we count the Mosquito Girl, there are only a few people. The dark matter space pirates are full of strong people. Maybe there are many ghost-level monsters, and the dragon-level monsters are worse than dogs. Among the monsters killed by Saitama along the way, not all of them are ghost-level, but there may not be a wolf-level monster. They are all tiger-level monsters. This is very tricky. For Genos, Being able to collect materials from aliens from different planets in the universe at one time is simply beyond imagination. However, if there is no way to capture due to lack of manpower, it feels like a knife in his heart. In this case, let's start the Beast Soldier plan. Lucifer strikes while the iron is hot. He naturally knows that he doesn't have many men to use, but Genos has never been very interested in studying alien creatures. Here, it is about transforming clones into alien biological weapons. He wants to spend time and energy studying human evolution. Beast Soldier plan. Of course Genos knows this plan. This is the plan that Lucifer told him when he first found him, to create a legion of alien biological weapons, the Beast Soldier Legion. The weakest Beast Soldier Corps are all ghost-level monsters. Genos thought about it, and finally he could only promise Lucifer that he would research the Beast Soldiers as soon as possible, and must catch the Dark Matter space pirate group in one fell swoop, and not a single alien can escape. In the vast outer space, a huge monster is like a ship swimming in the ocean called the universe, slowly moving forward. It is a spaceship, an extremely huge spaceship. The spaceship is made of metal machinery, with a purple-black appearance and a huge size, like a city, covering the sky and the sun. Such a huge spaceship is slowly moving in outer space. Its destination is the blue gem-like planet, Earth. Are we finally there? In a war room of the spaceship, a man is standing in front of a huge screen, looking at the blue planet that appears on the screen, muttering like a dream. This is a man wearing heavy armor and only one eye. Such a person stared at the planet on the screen with his only eye, and his voice revealed a little emotion. After 20 years, I finally arrived at this planet. The emotion revealed in the voice was called expectation. The existence that came from the other side of the distant universe and took 20 years to come to Earth was expecting something. The three subordinates standing behind this person knew this best. Lord Boros. The first person to speak was an alien with an octopus-like appearance. This alien spoke while addressing the one-eyed tyrant with his back to him in a respectful tone. Can the planet called Earth really respond to your expectations as the prophecy said? From the mouth of this octopus-shaped alien, no matter who it was, they could hear a strong suspicion. Not only it, but also the other two aliens thought so. Galyuganshup is right. An alien with a body similar to that of a human, but with a piranha-like appearance, not only has a green head full of fangs, but also a pair of arms that are like piranha-like mouths, said this with disdain. There is no existence in this universe that can compete with Lord Boros, let alone a planet with low-level creatures. As he spoke, the piranha alien looked at the last alien and asked. You said so, right? Maruzagurudo. Hearing this, the alien called Maruzagurudo raised his head. Moreover, a total of 5 heads were raised together. This alien was the most muscular among the group. Not only did his muscles bulge all over his body, his skin was also light brown like rock. He had a pair of bat-like wings on his back, and there were 5 heads on his neck, just like a demon. Then, the demon named Maruzagurudo spoke. What Gloriba said makes sense. There is no one in this universe who can compete with Lord Boros. Even if there are powerful life forms on the planet called Earth, they are at most at our level. At that time, it will be enough for us to go out. I think this is good. The 5 heads of Maruzagurudo said these words respectively. Then, 3 aliens, Galyuganshup, Gloribas, and Melzagardo, spoke in unison. There is no species that can be an enemy of our space dark matter pirates, and it is even more impossible for a life form to compete with the universe overlord Boros to exist. Chapter 55, The Invasion Begins. You are listening at NovelsMarvel. Cosmic Dark Matter Pirates. This is a group that constantly invades planets in the vast universe. It has been rampant and has never encountered any rivals. In this cosmic pirate group, there are not only a large number of fighters, who are responsible for combat, support and supplies, etc., and can support this pirate group to carry out large-scale invasions like an army, but also 3 top fighters who stand at the top of many fighters. These 3 top fighters are here, possessing extremely powerful superpowers. He thinks he is the best telekinetic master in the universe. He can transmit voices mentally and sweep away foreign enemies with telekinesis. His power is so strong that he can affect gravity. Octopus-type alien, Garuganshup. possessing the stunt of manipulating strong acid breath. The strong acid is enough to melt anything. It can almost be said that it will die at the touch of a finger, and it is more terrible than the poisonous man-eating plant-type alien, Gloribas, possessing 5 heads. Each head has its own consciousness, and can even split off and act independently, and can also control body cells to undergo various changes, freely change its appearance, and possess great power and unlimited regenerative ability. The demonic alien, Naruto. These 3 aliens are the top fighters in the universe Dark Matter Pirates. Each of them is a top fighter who easily surpasses the power of the disaster-level ghost. In other words, these 3 top fighters are all monsters of the disaster-level dragon, and the leader who commands many fighters in the universe Dark Matter Pirates, including these 3 top fighters, is the one-eyed tyrant in front of him wearing armor, Boros, listening to the advice from the 3 subordinates behind him. Boros finally retracted his gaze and lowered his head. After a while, Boros spoke. According to the prophecy, there is an opponent on that planet who can satisfy me. Whether the prophecy is true or not, since I have spent 20 years to find this place, there is no reason not to go. As the leader of the Dark Matter Pirates and the overlord of the universe, even if I can't find the opponent I crave, I will not leave the planet in front of me uninvaded. With these words, Boros turned around, raised his steps, and walked out of the war room without even looking at his 3 subordinates. Only one sentence was left. Start the attack. The 3 top fighters gave a very concise answer to this order. Yes. It's really an alien invasion. Kinos pushed his glasses. The huge vibranium spaceship in front of him carried more than 100 beast soldiers, all of which were alien biological weapons made by Hulk cells, Super Biceps King, Deep Sea Clan, etc. After various studies, the leader was naturally Lucifer. He folded his hands and looked at the starry sky outside the spaceship. Next to him were Mosquito Girl, Kinos, and Weskier. Although Bronsky was also on the spaceship, he might not even be as good as a beast soldier now. Lucifer used his supervision to directly discover the spaceship of the Dark Matter Space Pirates. At this time, Kinos had to believe that the alien invasion was true, so the next step was to capture the aliens. The leader of the other side is very powerful, and there are 3 very strong subordinates. Leave these to me. The others, Kinos, Weskier, you 2 will handle. Lucifer said to the 2 of them. Yes, Fard. No problem, Mr. Lucifer. Kinos looked at Weskier with some surprise. He didn't expect that he was Lucifer's son. Under Lucifer's command, the Black Emperor controlled the vibranium spaceship and hit the spaceship of the Dark Matter Space Pirates at full speed. The spaceship with a vibranium structure is also covered with a layer of Tyron cells. Under the condition of Lucifer's personal forging, the hardness of the Tyron cells is beyond imagination, which may be comparable to the original adamantium and the real adamantium. Therefore, if the collision is used directly, it is still very feasible. Even if the spaceship of the Dark Matter Universe Pirates has the ability to travel in the interstellar space, it is not enough. Boom! In the soundless universe, the 2 spaceships collided with each other, and then everyone inside the 2 spaceships heard the explosion and the loud noise. What's going on? It seems to be attacked. Attack? An attack from the Earth? How is it possible? Isn't it said to be a backward planetary civilization? Where is the enemy? Why didn't the spaceship detect it at all? That everyone in the Dark Matter Universe Pirates went crazy. Vibranium naturally has the ability to invisible. It is normal that it cannot be detected. This is why Lucifer dared to fight directly in close combat and play hand-to-hand combat. Otherwise, it might be shot down by a wave of artillery shells from the Dark Matter Universe Pirates. The vibranium spaceship is fine. There is no movement at all. It is calm. Start to deploy beast soldiers. Lucifer gave the order, and the Black Emperor opened the hatch of the vibranium spaceship. One by one, the hideous beast men jumped into the spaceship of the Dark Matter Space Pirates, and immediately saw several strange aliens. Before they could attack, the beast men had knocked them to the ground, and their biological tissues squirmed, and their tentacles pierced into the bodies of these aliens and injected anesthetics. Even ordinary people may die from anesthesia overdose or allergies, let alone aliens. However, Kinos said that this can initially screen out the differences among aliens, and then they can be targeted for containment and classification. We were attacked. Is the prophecy true, that the octopus-shaped alien Goryuganshipu hesitated and thought, but although the strength of the invaders was good, comparable to the carefully selected fighters in this spaceship, they seemed to have no ability to hide themselves, and were easily discovered by Goryuganshipu, who arranged the fighters on the spaceship to go to fight. The reaction speed is very fast. Is it the effect of the unknown biological organizations inside the spacecraft? Kinos looked at the screen and analyzed the combat situation. Weskier naturally followed the beast soldiers to kill in. Swish, amid the sharp sound of breaking through the air and the explosion, a figure rushed out with an astonishing momentum. Boom, the dull sound of shaking the atmosphere resounded, one of the beast soldiers was blown up in an instant. As expected of aliens, they suffered losses so quickly. Kinos pushed his glasses. There were only 100 beast soldiers in total, and now one was lost. Chapter 56, Containment. You are listening at NovelsMarvel. Lucifer caught the guy who killed a beast soldier with one blow. Otherwise, if he let it go, the Umbrella Company would suffer heavy losses. I haven't seen you in the original plot, but there is a dragon level, which is really powerful. Lucifer originally thought that the Monster Association might be just a little bit worse than the Dark Matter Space Pirates, but now he found that the Dark Matter Space Pirates might be stronger than he thought, because the 3 top fighters actually have the strength of dragons. Among them, the big octopus and the 2 killed by Saitama with one punch might be the top of the dragon, and the big octopus might be above the dragon. Dare to invade our spaceship, go to hell. There was another alien, whose arms were like huge crab claws, and he swung directly at Lucifer. Lucifer swept his eyes. Another dragon level. He used both hands to smash the alien at the beginning to the ground, and the ground exploded. The dragon-level alien died on the spot, but the body was very intact under the protection of the biological force field. Lucifer threw it behind him and took it in for the beast soldiers. As for the alien with the crab claw, Lucifer grabbed it, but then countless sharp objects appeared on the claw. Ha ha ha, you've been fooled. The dragon-level alien covered with spikes laughed loudly, and then Lucifer pierced his head with his index finger. At least make sure the enemy is dead before you act arrogant. Lucifer said casually. Just then, Lucifer saw and heard a terrible movement, as if something powerful was coming. Oh 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 oh, Gloribus roared first and rushed out suddenly. The charge crushed the rubble under his feet and caused the ruins behind him to be blown away. Under the impact of the strong wind, it rushed forward like an exploding flame. Maruzugarudo suddenly twisted his body, like flowing soil, and his body changed for a while. Finally, his 5 heads split apart and formed 5 bodies, like a fighter plane gliding through the air, making a sharp sound of breaking through the air and rushing over. I saw that Maruzugarudo's 5 bodies were like bats swooping down from the air, swooping down with the vibration of the wings behind them. Lucifer saw the appearance of these 2 top fighters and became more serious. After all, it was still difficult to capture them alive. Gloribus was okay. If he couldn't be captured alive, he could just kill him and keep his whole body. But Maruzugarudo was not okay. If his 5 beads were destroyed, his body tissue would be directly degraded and turned into nothing, and he couldn't study it even if he wanted to. Puff! Gloribus's mouth opened immediately and spit out a mouthful of acid water. That was the strong acid attack that this top fighter was best at. Wherever it passed, the air made a hissing sound, as if it was corroded, and emitted a sour smell. Ordinary S-class heroes, such as the sexy prisoner, the vest master, and the zombie man, would be instantly turned into thick water if they were touched. But Lucifer's eyes turned red and released a heat vision. Now his heat vision is very scary. The acid water directly disappeared, and even the gas did not exist. What? Gloribus made a surprised sound. Is that it? Is there only this inferior means of attack? Lucifer's voice appeared behind it, and Gloribus turned around suddenly, and Lucifer's punch came to his face. Bang! This punch shattered Gloribus's proud defense skills, and the damage to his entire body reached 90%, almost paralyzed. Even if it has a super regenerative ability, it cannot recover in a short time. Seeing Gloribas fall so quickly, Maleprotagonist was a little bit unbelievable, but relying on his immortal body, he rushed up to fight Lucifer in close combat. As long as he trapped Lucifer, he could exhaust him alive. Lucifer took a deep breath and blew it out when Maleprotagonist rushed up, frozen breath. The whistling cold current instantly froze Maleprotagonist, who was the first to bear the brunt. Maleprotagonist didn't even have time to struggle, and his whole body was frozen. This is the method Lucifer came up with to capture Maleprotagonist alive. This guy is like plasticine, and there is no actual body. So just freeze it and capture it. After freezing, the molecules are difficult to move. This guy is not a creature that can be controlled at the molecular level, and it is impossible for him to escape. Then Lucifer continued to move forward. Wherever he passed, he knocked down any alien with one punch. Even if the beast soldiers just followed behind to collect them, they gradually became a little tired. Fortunately, Lucifer then encountered the giant octopus Kryptonian, who attacked because of shock. There was no way. The combatants were basically wiped out by Lucifer. The enemy invading the spaceship was unprecedentedly powerful. Kryptonian couldn't help but think of the prophecy. Could the prophecy be true? No, Lord Boros is the strongest. Kryptonian's telekinesis was like an invisible sickle weasel, attacking Lucifer. Lucifer remained calm and his bioforce field met the telekinesis. The two sides wrestled together like invisible tentacles, but the interior of the spaceship was devastated, and all the places affected were turned into powder. Sorry, I can't let you destroy this spaceship. I still want to study its power source. Lucifer felt that Kryptonian was difficult, so he activated his Kryptonian super speed and instantly soared to dozens of times the speed of sound. Kryptonian's telekinetic shield was fragile in the face of this whistling supersonic impact, and it exploded with a bang. Then Lucifer grabbed Kryptonian's neck, and then it entangled his body with its tentacles. Don't be complacent, low-level creature, I am the #1 telekinetic master in the universe, Kryptonian roared, and his telekinesis burst out, acting on Lucifer, forcing him to bend slightly, but under the counterattack of the biological force field, Kryptonian was quickly suppressed in turn. It couldn't believe that there was such a powerful creature. It was fine if the body was strong, but even the telekinesis was so powerful. It was a pity that it couldn't tell the difference between the biological force field and telekinesis, otherwise it would not have thought of fighting Lucifer. The bioforce field of the Kryptonians is similar to the Grand Unified field of the Grand Unified theory. Within the influence range of the bioforce field, the Kryptonians are no different from God. They can subvert various physical laws and rules at will, and even modify reality and perform operations such as anti-logic. The suppressed Kryptonian was then contained in a vibranium box. Chapter 57, Boros is angry and humiliated. You are listening at NovelsMarvel. All members of the Dark Matter Universe pirates are now very confused, because the current development is beyond their imagination and expectations. In previous battles, after destroying the planet's space observation equipment, the Maleprotagonist, an alien that can differentiate into 5 bodies, with infinite recovery and the strongest combat adaptability, will fall down to clean up the air, and then fire a volley at the gathering of creatures. After collecting information, the main body of the spacecraft began to attack with a target. A large number of basic combatants descended to attack, and the superior combatants began to solve the highest life form on this planet. If it cannot be solved, then the ultimate combat power of the Dark Matter Pirates, who is also their common leader, the super life form Boros, will take action to wipe out everything. Lucifer, who killed all the way, ignored the movement behind him. He felt that the Dark Matter Universe Pirates was really powerful. From his invasion to now, he has encountered about 10 dragon-level monsters, not counting the 3 top combatants. As for the ghost-level monsters, even if the number is about to exceed 100, if he could catch them all, Lucifer would never have to worry about future gains. After a slight turn, he saw a huge alloy door that was hundreds of meters high and hundreds of meters wide. The door was engraved with strange circuit-like patterns, and a mysterious one-eyed eye was carved at the junction in the center of the door, the room where Boros was? Lucifer stopped. After a little thought, the alloy door with an extraordinary appearance finally opened. First, the black lines on the upper part of the door glowed slightly, and finally the mysterious one-eyed eye in the center glowed with blue light. The next moment, Lucifer saw the scene inside. The area was large and slightly empty. There was only a high platform at the back, where there was a gorgeous throne with layers of accumulation, on which Boros sat. The overall structure is similar to that of humans. Apart from the strange and beautiful afro, the only difference on this guy's face is he has only one eye, which occupies half of his face. There are black lines spreading around the eye. The upper body also has a set of slightly exaggerated armor, with two spikes on the shoulders, one long and one short, as if they are directly extended from the bones. The lower body is wide alien trousers, and there is a white cape behind. Welcome to my spaceship. I didn't expect you to be here so soon. Boros said lightly with his hands on his chest, and at the same time, he jumped directly from the 10-meter-high platform with a light tap. There was almost no sound of landing. Boros has been traveling in the universe for hundreds of years, passing through more than 1,000 planets, and has robbed a joint organization composed of several civilizations. Until now, no one has been able to defeat him, for this kind of planet where space travel technology has not made much progress and has not yet communicated with the outside world. The dark matter pirates often sell the natives as slaves after defeating the strongest creatures, and trade the planetary resources. A planet can also be seen as a giant creature, which has the instinct to seek benefits and avoid harm. In this crisis, some powerful life forms, huge in size, super intelligent, most evolved, and mastering some energy usage methods, that are taken care of by the planetary consciousness will fight against themselves and others for various reasons. Let me tell you my name before the battle. I am the leader of the dark matter pirates, the overlord of the universe, Boros. Boros walked forward slowly, his one eye slightly widened, and his arms were already lowered. The overlord of the universe. Lucifer suddenly became interested. It's been 20 years. In order to find the opponent in the prophecy, my men and I sailed for a long 20 years to come here. However, my men thought it was just a lie made up by the prophet to make us leave. However, you are the first planet that makes us so embarrassed. It seems that the prophecy is very real. Come on. Boros excitedly introduced himself. Wait, I have a question. Lucifer suddenly said. What question? Boros was easy to talk to and looked at Lucifer. You said you are the master of the universe, right? Lucifer asked. Yes. Boros said proudly. He had destroyed so many planets and no one was his opponent. Then your spaceship can't jump through space. It will take 20 years. Lucifer asked. Boros was stunned. It seems that you can't jump through space, so your range of activities is probably only in the Milky Way. Then, can your spaceship fly faster than the speed of light? Lucifer continued to ask. Boros was silent. It seems that you can't fly faster than the speed of light, so your range of activities is even smaller. Then, Master of the Universe, can your spaceship fly at the speed of light? You can't even fly at the speed of light. Then your range of activities is even smaller. How long have you lived? The time unit of our Earth is calculated like this. 400 years, our clan has grown and transformed through countless battles. Boros answered immediately, but was interrupted by Lucifer again. Only 400 Earth years. Then your active time is very short. I'm afraid you haven't even traveled 1/3 of the Milky Way. You wasted a long time on the way. Don't you even have a sleep device? In this case, even if you want to run out of the Milky Way, you won't have time to go to other galaxies and will die of old age on the way. How can you be called the overlord of the universe? You can only be called the overlord of a certain area of the Milky Way. Lucifer continued. I rule thousands of planets and destroy dozens of advanced civilizations. Boros gritted his teeth and said. This universe overlord, do you know how big the Milky Way is? According to our human observations, after all, our technology is limited. We can only observe roughly. The Milky Way is composed of 100 to 400 billion stars and a large number of star clusters, nebulae, and various types of interstellar gas and interstellar dust. In this environment, even if one planet with life is born in 1 million planets, that number is an astronomical figure. The thousands of planets you rule and the dozens of advanced civilizations you destroy are probably just sand in the sea of stars in this Milky Way. Lucifer said, although Boros wanted to refute, he couldn't find a reason to refute. Enough. That's not what I came here to say. Boros shouted, he was so angry. I've decided, I'm going to destroy your planet. Boros was very angry, and his first target was the guy who made him speechless. Chapter 58, One Punch to Calm the Storm. You are listening at NovelsMarvel. Boom boom boom. In the extremely strong terrifying air current, Lucifer's eyes met the terrifying single eye, and various emotions such as bloodthirsty, warlikeness, and indifference flowed through it and finally intertwined with the purest fighting intention at this time, but Lucifer said softly. Sorry for attacking Miss. As he spoke, Boros' sudden shocking bombardment had already been imprinted on Lucifer's body, but, the figure disappeared, bang. Kerala. With the sound of metal shattering for an instant, Lucifer punched Boros on the left side of his abdomen. The sound of armor cracking and the sound of white air bursting together were almost indistinguishable, and Boros' body also flew upside down and crashed into the giant pillar on the edge of the square. For a moment, the fragments were shattered by the remaining force. The smoke and dust pushed the battle situation into an unknown situation. Well. Boros, who was deeply trapped in the stone pillar, slowly stood up. The strange armor on his upper body had been completely shattered by the Chiha fist. There was also a mysterious one eye in the middle of his chest. The voice coming out of his mouth at this time was actually filled with relief. It seems like, some kind of shackles have been released. The armor I wore to seal my excessive power, just shattered. Boros spoke calmly. At this time, his blue muscles with almost perfect proportions and structure were no longer covered up, but his aura was in vain several times stronger. Ah. In the slightly weird roar, the black lines all over Boros' body lit up at this time, and his body seemed to be charged with energy. The joints were stretched a lot, and the muscles continued to expand, forming a kind of armor-like appearance on the body's surface. Eventually, his entire body turned dark blue or even almost pitch black. Boom! The lines all over Boros's body lit up in a fighting state, and unknown huge energy flowed through it. Just such a slight fighting posture had already caused a strong wind to hit, bang. The explosion of smoke and dust visible to the naked eye formed a circle with a diameter of 5 meters around it, and the alloy ground under his feet also pulled out large spiderweb-shaped terrifying cracks with a clicking sound. This blow was firmly imprinted on Boros's abdomen. On top, the violent and concussive power was not wasted at all, and the left fist, which was comparable to the power of opening the gate of a full reservoir, also knocked it away at a slightly weird angle. That I don't know whether it was pain or something interesting. Boros was hit hard and was slightly thrown away. He grinned and said softly, his expression full of excitement, on top of the dark blue armor made of body tissue, there was already a punch mark that was almost half deep on the left side of the abdominal armor that fit closely with the muscle lines. It looked like it was going to punch Boros through, but it only took a moment, and the wound healed naturally in just one breath, without any sign of injury. This is the peculiarity of the Boros race. As long as there is energy, it can regenerate quickly. The recovery speed is comparable to that of Wolverine, or even faster. At least Wolverine can't get back together with his whole body shattered. Did you know that our clan, which competes for survival on a planet with an extremely harsh environment, has a self-healing ability that is second to none in the universe? The corner of Boros's mouth curled up slightly. It was a twisted character that had been forged in a high-pressure environment for a long time. He had extreme disregard for life, both for himself and others, pursued powerful destructive power, and had a weird passion for fighting powerful creatures. My natural healing power, body functions, and potential energy belong to the top category. For you, serious injuries that are fatal to you can be recovered in just a few seconds. He has fought on countless planets, and although he has not specifically learned anything like fighting skills, he has honed his skills in the harsh competition for survival and the most direct and practical attack methods he has mastered in subsequent fights. This powerful skill is imprinted on the body's instinct. With the support of super body functions, this is the first living body to completely dodge every blow in combat. Lucifer said, "What are you talking about? You just didn't use the molecular destruction punch. Otherwise, Boros could be crushed with one punch." After liberating the limitations of the armor, Boros's speed has already surpassed the speed of sound, and his strength and body strength have also reached a new level. With perfect performance at this time, a simple and even straight charge without any change actually brought about a fighter jet. The fierce momentum of the dive, boom. The powerful impact caused the area to be almost enveloped by the escaping white airflow, bang 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 bang. Nothing fancy, no, both sides used extremely superb fighting skills. Every punch fired by both hands was perfect in terms of angle, direction of force, consistency of moves, and finding the enemy's weaknesses. The two of them were almost interpreting the extreme skills of exerting their strength, but the high number of collisions at that moment covered up these. The collision between the two monsters in the field had already caused quite a commotion on the spacecraft. Those strong bombardments not only destroyed many load-bearing columns, but the rest of the spacecraft was also affected by the aftermath. Now everyone knows that Boros the adults are fighting a fierce battle with a super life form on Earth. Ha ha ha. It's such a long-lost pleasure of fighting. I will use my full strength next, but I must not die. Boros's mouth opened wide, revealing his bright white healthy fangs. He swung his right arm, which had been twisted into a weird shape. The blue energy that had appeared during intense use increased, and then returned to its original state in an instant. Lucifer looked at Boros spotlessly, feeling that the pressure Boros gave him was not as great as that of the vaccine man, who finally evolved into a very terrifying state. Ah! Boros screamed, and his energy surged in a horse-like posture. A small energy accumulation field had formed 1 meter away from his body. The single eye on his chest emitted a strong light, and in less than a second, it was about to send out a shocking energy bombardment. Now I am going to release the huge energy in my body. If ordinary people touch it. Ha ha ha. Ordinary people will be wiped out if they touch it. This is my last blow to you. Dazzling blue energy lit up in the single eye on Boros' chest, followed by a whistling, earth-shattering terrifying energy. Awesome. Lucifer clenched his fist and then punched out, just like Saitama broke the Roaring Star collapse cannon with one punch in the original plot. Now Lucifer also blew up the trash cannon with one punch. Chapter 59, There is no God in the World. You are listening at NovelsMarvel.audio. The violent aftermath swept across the top of the spaceship, and the protective devices, turrets, and signal transmission devices were all annihilated in this terrifying collision. Lucifer's punch successfully dispersed the energy cannon, and he bombarded Boros with undiminished momentum. Boros' body exploded. How could it be possible? Not only could it disperse my small fish cannon, but it could also crush my body. Meteor explosion. The bright blue light suddenly burst out in the smoke, and Boros's almost shattered body was recast again, and the color of his skin turned pink. The surging energy almost instantly swept away the dust in the air. The spaceship also showed a clear trend of falling, and Boros was also in a state of anger at this time. Although he originally planned to pull Lucifer into the dark matter pirates, now after a battle, the combatants have been greatly reduced, and even the navigation tool that has been used for decades has fallen on this primitive planet. This almost means that Boros has been trapped to death on Earth. His body functions are indeed strong, and his own energy reserves are also huge. It is not a dream to fly in the space in his body for a short distance, but the coordinates of this primitive planet are also extremely remote in the universe. Now that he has lost the spaceship, he can no longer leave for the next 100 years. This guy must die. Boros relied on his body functions to directly use energy as a propulsion force, and immediately reached a terrifying strength beyond the biological structure. He almost did not feel the constraints of the sound barrier and the heat barrier. The speed broke through the first cosmic speed. No creature could stop this assault, even if he moved at super speed to dodge or use some kind of device for defense. It was still within Boros's expectations. He was sure that he would never be able to resist such a pure combination of power and speed. Dong! The sound of the collision had a lingering meaning, which meant that the attack beyond the limit of the organism was actually blocked. The feel is right, it really hit. Boros was confused for a moment. In order to confirm his judgment, his left hand had already launched a second close-range attack faster than his mind. Lucifer took the second blow. The Kryptonian super speed was not weaker than Boros's meteor burst, and was even stronger. Because of the assistance of the biological force field, even if it was accelerated to hundreds of times the speed of sound, there was no need to worry that the physical effect would make Lucifer overturn the surface like a natural disaster and destroy human civilization. Bang! After a very short explosion, Boros looked at his chest in a daze. There was a fist-sized wound there. When entering the meteor burst, Boros's dynamic vision, breath perception and energy sensing had already reached an unprecedented peak. All physical trajectory movements within a radius of 1 kilometer should not be hidden from him, but when he saw Lucifer retracting his fist, Boros confirmed his guess. At the same time, this level of damaged volume does not require special energy infusion, and the body's self-healing ability can immediately play a role in repairing it perfectly. Puff! The pale pink super machine exploded in the air, and Boros' body was actually defeated. However, Lucifer knew that he was not dead yet. As long as his energy was not exhausted, his body would not die. Boros' figure overlapped again, but after learning from his lesson, he recovered and was suspended in the air again, and his spirit entered a violent state. Incredible, this planet actually has such a powerful representative. The representative that appears on a general planet may be just the most powerful creature selected in natural competition. Its own growth is driven and guided by the planet, and of course it does not necessarily obey the instructions of the planet's will. The second type is that the planet combines multiple genes and transforms to give birth to an almost perfect life. The body strength and energy will reach the peak, and at the same time it is completely controlled by the planet, which is the most difficult existence to deal with. This is the case with the vaccine man that Lucifer dealt with before. The third type is the most special case. Due to some special reasons, the transformed body is destroyed and the body is seriously threatened. The planet's will does not care about the danger and directly descends on a certain biological individual. Because of the gene restriction, the body strength is not very high, but the energy level of direct operation rises sharply. This most primitive planet should still be in the first state, and even has no self-awareness. How could it have created such a powerful representative? It doesn't matter. I will release all my energy and completely destroy you and the surface of this planet. After realizing that he could not defeat his opponent even if he exerted his body's strength to the limit, Boros made a decision to release all his energy and destroy the entire surface life together. He would also enter a weak state due to energy exhaustion, and his self-healing ability would disappear for a long time, but as long as he could defeat this guy, everything would be worth it. Crashing star roaring cannon. The extremely condensed white energy beam shot out from Boros' chest, and Lucifer's vision was completely blocked by it when he faced this attack. All colors have lost their meaning at this time. This is an attack beyond human imagination. Lucifer now feels that he is facing a strong enemy, but he just raised his hand and punched. Cosmic Phantom, that the beam of light split into two, and the huge energy aftermath actually separated half of the clouds on the planet. Because of the fierce battle between the two, the spaceship has already fallen over the Earth. Not to mention at this time, the spaceship's falling trend has suddenly accelerated, and the momentum is even more fierce. Did I lose? In the distance, Boros has fallen to the ground. All the organs below his arms, chest and abdomen have been broken by this punch. The body that surpasses the structure of biological bodies has also turned into a dry black color. Only a head of pink hair can identify this overlord of the universe. The prophecy is indeed correct. This is indeed a battle of equal strength. Boros's tone is weak, and his breath of life is also slowly but irreversibly decaying. The biggest enemy has been defeated, Kinos, you hurry up to recover it. If it's too late, I'm afraid he will die. Lucifer said to the communicator. The reason why he can crush Boros so easily is very simple. Before coming to stop the dark matter space pirate group, Lucifer has been upgraded to level 7 through various monsters created by Kinos. Boros's expression has not changed. He has lost all his strength, his perception is rapidly weakening, and the dimness of the fire of life makes his consciousness begin to become trance. Chapter 60, Unexpected Appearance. You are listening at NovelsMarvel. Gynos rushed over without saying a word, but unfortunately Boros had already died, and Lucifer also received experience points. After upgrading to level 7, Lucifer's experience points suddenly shrank. This was not an experience penalty, but that the experience required for upgrading became more. However, Boros's cells had not lost their activity. After Gynos used energy to supply them, these cells survived, making Gynos ecstatic. He had witnessed the whole battle between Lucifer and Boros, so he knew very well how powerful this one-eyed alien was, but Lucifer was more powerful than he thought. Every time he thought he knew Lucifer's strength. And Lucifer gave him another surprise. Lucifer returned to Umbrella Company with Boros' spaceship. Boss, is this an alien spacecraft? That the scientific researchers of the Umbrella Company were dumbfounded as they looked at the huge spacecraft in front of them. It looked like it had a high level of technology, at least 50 years ahead of the Earth. That's right, you should study it thoroughly as soon as possible and build our Umbrella Company's spaceships and space battleships. Although Lucifer had ridiculed that Boros's cosmic overlord was not worthy of its name, this was still a spacecraft capable of interstellar navigation. In any case, its technological content was much higher than that of Earth, a civilization that had not even ventured out of its own star system. Okay, boss. The scientific researchers asked whether this was too much trouble for them. However, they were already the property of the Umbrella Company and had signed a contract of sale. If they wanted to resign, they would have to die. Otherwise, with the financial resources of the Umbrella Company, they would not be able to escape at all. Lucifer then went to Dr. Kinos. He was still more concerned about the research progress here. He had tasted the benefits before and upgraded from level 6 to level 7. Now he can kill himself at level 6 with one punch. If Dr. Genos can wholesale dragon-level monsters, or even monsters above dragons, then Lucifer should be able to upgrade to level 8 soon. However, Dr. Kinos said it was unlikely. Dr. Kinos had already made a similar mask to the Child Emperor that could test his combat effectiveness, but every time it was used to observe Lucifer, the thing would explode directly, so just very helpless. However, there are very few monsters that meet the dragon-level standards. Even if they have created ghost-level mass-produced beast-turned army, that is not a work that Genos is satisfied with. Although it is more stable, it lacks the possibility of further progress. Kinos doesn't want this kind of mutilated product. The Marvel world has been very lively recently. The biological weapons sold by the Umbrella Company have caused a lot of trouble. Some small countries have even learned to conduct biochemical terrorist attacks without any teachers. Unfortunately, the bow sold by the Umbrella Company has no infection ability. At most it just causes panic. However, these things also attracted the attention of the United Nations, to be precise, the 3 leaders on Blue Star, but even if they know that these biological weapons come from the Umbrella Company, they have not yet issued a treaty restricting the circulation and use of biological weapons. Even if there is such a treaty, wouldn't it still be legal if most countries don't recognize it? Let's not talk about how long it will take to wade through the treaty restricting this thing. Besides, don't America and Mauzi need this kind of weapon? Of course, use it as soon as possible before it is prohibited to use it. The core of today's hunters has changed. They are not the product of the castrated version of Tyran cells, but have become mass-produced deep-sea tribes. Anyway, the deep-sea tribe has tiger-level and wolf-level monsters per capita, and clones them. After that, with a little strengthening, it will have very good combat effectiveness. Genos's cloning technology has reached an incredible level. There is no need for maturation or cultivation time. Mature clones can be cloned in one go, and their survival time is longer than that of normal clones. Don't know how he did it. This is of course a good thing for Lucifer, and now that we have a lot of aliens, Umbrella Company's products can be more diverse. No, boss. Then an urgent communication surprises Lucifer. What's up? Lucifer connected because this communication is important. Tony Stark got away. The mercenaries on the opposite side broke out in cold sweat. They had no idea that Tony Stark could run away with so many mercenaries watching. Run away? Lucifer was very curious about the whole process. How could a steel suit forged by manual beating be able to escape from his super soldier? What a fuss. Tony Stark didn't escape on his own. We were suddenly attacked by the Ten Rings gang. After we eliminated the Ten Rings gang, we discovered that Tony Stark had run away. The super soldier said cautiously, after all, acting must be comprehensive, so Lucifer asked them to act in Afghanistan. Although it was unexpected to be attacked by the Ten Rings gang, it doesn't seem surprising if you think about it carefully. The Ten Rings gang wanted to take action against this group of outsiders from the beginning. After being taught a lesson, in order to ensure their status in Afghanistan, the Ten Rings gang began to observe this group of terrorists who neither looted nor did anything else. However, after observing them for more than a year, this group of terrorists still did nothing. Except for the occasional shift change every month and a lot of new faces, they just stayed still. The Ten Rings suspected that they were investigating the situation in Afghanistan and waiting for an opportunity to attack. In order to be on the safe side, the Ten Rings chose the strategy of striking first. Having learned from the last lesson, the Ten Rings came out in full force this time, carrying the sophisticated weapons of Stark Industries and even the super weapons purchased privately from the Umbrella Company, hoping to eliminate these malicious outsiders in one fell swoop. Unexpectedly, these outsiders were stunned at first, and then when they reacted, the situation changed. The leader of the Ten Rings even saw one of them tear open the hard steel alloy armor of the war machine with his bare hands. The attacking Ten Rings fought a suppression battle for less than 10 minutes, and then they were torn apart and killed by the super soldiers who reacted, and none of them escaped. Then the super soldiers who were cleaning the battlefield suddenly found that Tony Stark was missing, and with him, the simple steel battle suit that was ready to be taken away at a fixed time and place was also missing. He even didn't bring Ensign with him, which made the super soldiers lose the only way to track him. As a last resort, the super soldier could only inform Lucifer. He is so smart that it is impossible for him to find out that Ensign is not right now. It must be that you are too idle and let him see the clues. Lucifer said.